Hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to the next video. Let's get into the chapter Food Security in India. You talk about food and I am slowly remembering all the wonderful food I like. Puri, chapati, curry. Oh, I'm a fan of big Indian food. What about you? Type down in the comments which food you like. But today, in this chapter, we are not going to talk about interesting food, but we are going to talk about the importance of food. Is the food available for everyone? Are everyone fortunate enough to enjoy food, get food 3 to 4 times per day? Not everyone, right? So, in this chapter, we'll cover understanding what is food security and specific to our country, food security in India. So, now let's get started. What is food security? What is the definition of food security? It is triple A. So whenever you're trying to remember the definition of food security, remember the movie Triple R, right? Rajamouli movie Triple R, and similarly remember triple A for food security. First A stands for affordable availability. So it means, is the food actually available? And how do we account it? What is the food that has been produced in a year? What is the food that has been imported by the country? And what is the food stock which is already available from the previous year? What is the meaning of import? So normally all the countries may not be able to produce all kinds of food, so may have to import certain kinds of food, right? For example, India is exporting wheat and rice because we grow it more. Similarly, some other country may be importing it because they may not be able to grow it on their own. So this is about availability. Next comes the affordability. It's not just having the food available, but the people should be able to buy it also. So this is called as affordability. And the last one is accessibility. Is the food within the reach of every person? Throughout all the times, it should be not one day or 2 day in the year. It should be availability, affordability and accessibility of food to all the people, everyone, at all the times throughout the year. So these AAA are also called as the dimensions of food security. Food security in a country is ensured if there is availability, enough food is available, affordability, people have a capacity to buy, and accessibility, that there are no barriers on access to food. What do you mean by barriers on access to food? We will understand in the coming slides. So there is a question in the chapter which asks, what happens to supply of food when there is a disaster or a calamity? Can you guess? Say for example, one country has a very bad earthquake. What will happen? Suddenly the farmers will not be able to use their farmland to produce the food. So slowly what will happen? The output of food grains will reduce, the stock of food grains will decrease. So it will lead to a shortage of food. So whenever there is a shortage of food, what will happen? People want it, but it is not available, so prices will increase. So everyone may not be able to access it. Third one, if the calamity or disaster continues for a long time, more and more people will not be able to get the food. So it may lead to starvation. And if starvation happens on a big scale, it may lead to famine, and this famine can lead to deaths due to the starvation. People may start dying if they don't have food for the long period of time. So example of famine of Bengal 1943 has been given in the chapter for this. So this is about question number 6. So you can use the same, try to generate your complete answer for question number 6. Next, who are food insecure? So this particular slide, once we complete it, you will be able to answer question number 5. A section of people in India are still without food. Explain which are the people more prone to food insecurity. So these two questions you should be able to answer after we complete this. Who are food insecure? You understood what is food security. Food security happens when you have availability of food, when you have affordability of food, as well as accessibility of food for all the people at all times. What is food insecurity? It is exactly opposite. So there is no availability, affordability, or accessibility of food. So normally people who don't have own land, they are one of the most food insecure people. Second, people with less land and the people who are into traditional work like artisans providing traditional services, etc., they are highly food insecure. Then self-employed people like workers and beggars, they are also food insecure. Then comes the people who are affected by the natural calamities, who migrate to some other people. So for example, take an example of city where people have their own work and they're doing their money, they're earning money some or the other way, but there is suddenly a big calamity, like there is a, say for example, there has been an earthquake or a tsunami, so they lost their livelihood, they lost their job, so they had to move to some other place, so there will be no continuous source of income for them. So such people are food insecure. Then large proportion of pregnant mothers and children who are under the age of 5 also come under this category. Then high malnutrition exists in women. Then scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and some OBCs who have lesser lands are also under this category. And in urban areas, family of people who are working in ill-paid occupations and casual labors, and further people who are doing seasonal activities with low wages fall under this category of food insecurity. So the people belonging to these categories are prone to food insecurity. So they don't have the availability of affordability or accessibility to food at all the time. So these people are food insecure. Which states are more food insecure? So now we have seen what are the categories of people who fall under food insecurity. Now we'll look at the states which are more food insecure. Normally it happens in the states where there is higher poverty, there is higher tribal population, and there are some remote areas where the people are staying away from the main cities, and even to the regions where they are prone to natural disasters. So normally when we look at the list of the states, for example, UP, Bihar, Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand has lot of natural disasters regularly. Orissa, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh, parts of Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. So these are the states which have more people who are food insecure. So they don't have the availability, affordability, and accessibility to food at all times. Next, we need to understand hunger. Hunger is directly relating to food. What do you do when you feel hungry? You eat. So if you are able to get food, then you are able to reduce your hunger or completely remove your hunger. But if you are hungry but you're not feeling, you're not getting food, then you are food insecure. So now let's understand what is hunger. It is another aspect of indicating the food insecurity. As I mentioned, if you are hungry, you get food, you are food secure. If you are hungry, you don't get food, you fall under the category of food insecurity. Okay. Now, how to ensure there is food security considering hunger? So you are food secure, or a person is food insecure if he is able to eliminate his current hunger. If a person feels hungry and he is able to get food, then he is food secure in a current hunger. But similarly, the person should be able to get food whenever he is hungry in future. So this is about reducing the risk of future hunger. There are two dimensions of hunger. One is the chronic hunger and second is a seasonal hunger. So chronic hunger means you're not able to continuously fulfill your hunger. So your diet is not adequate. You're not getting good food. So the good food in terms of the quantity as well as the quality. So generally people who are poor, who are below, earn a low income, they fall under this category of chronic hunger. Because of their low income, they are not able to get food, they are not able to buy food, they are not able to afford food regularly, what is required for basic nutrition. Second comes the seasonal hunger. As the name suggests, seasonal means the people under this hunger, they are able to afford food for some period of time, but they are not able to get food during the other periods of month. For example, somebody who is involved in construction, a laborer, a construction labor, he will get work when the weather is good, like there is sun, there is no rain, then he will get lot of work. But if in the case of a rainy season, what will happen? He will not get work because no construction can happen during rainy season. So in those terms, in those times, he may not be able to afford the food. So in those times, he faces the seasonal hunger. So if you look at the examples, in rural areas, the landless laborers; in urban areas, the casual laborers, they fall under the category of seasonal hunger. So we are talking about food security, and food is mainly coming from the agriculture. So do you believe Green Revolution has made India self-sufficient in food grains? This is again question 4. Yes, I strongly believe it has made India self-sufficient. Let us understand how. Green Revolution was introduced in 1968. It led to increase in production of wheat and rice throughout India. So what happened? There was suddenly lot of food grains which were available in the country at all times. Like even if the weather is good, even if there is some calamity, we had lot of food available for everyone. Even if the the situation of famine was also, it was avoided, which had happened in the past. So Green Revolution has actually helped us increase the food grains and become self-sufficient in food grains. Once we had a lot of food, what we did, there was a food security system designed by government, which includes buffer stock and public distribution system, PDS. So this is how Green Revolution has helped India become self-sufficient in food. Food security system in India. There are What is food security system? So as the name suggests, it is a system which is run by government of India, or it is designed by government of India, and to ensure that the triple A's of food grains is there throughout the country. So we understood what is food security. It includes availability, affordability, and accessibility of food throughout the year, throughout at all times for all the people. So food security system is designed to ensure that triple A is happening throughout the country, irrespective of the weather or the season. What are the components of food security system? One, it is buffer stock, and two, public distribution system. So we'll understand about it in the next slides. What is buffer stock? So there are two questions relating to this particular topic. Question number 9, why buffer stock is created, and question number 10, minimum support price, buffer stock, and issue price. What is buffer? Buffer means anything excess, right? Anything available more is called as buffer. And stock, here we refer to stock as food grain stock, stock of the food grains. So in simpler terms, buffer stock refers to extra food grains which are available. FCI is the government body which purchases wheat and rice from the farmers in the state with surplus. So FCI is Food Corporation of India. So this is a government body which runs this particular system. What they do is they go to that particular state in the country where there is a lot of wheat and rice which is produced. So surplus means more than actually required by the people to eat. So FCI will go there and purchase the extra wheat and rice from the farmers. Then they will stock these food grains. So they will store these food grains in proper warehouses through FCI. So FCI will go and buy the surplus food grains from the people, and they store it in the warehouses. And the farmers from whom they buy the goods, they are paid a specific amount of money, and this is announced in advance so that the farmers can plan what they want to grow. And this is called as the minimum support price, pre-announced price which will be paid to the farmers for a particular wheat or grain which they are growing. And purchased food grains are stored, and then distribution happens. So like for example, we saw that the food grains are purchased from the states where there is a surplus, and then they are stored, and once they are stored, they are then distributed to the different states or different areas where there is no food or there is very less food. So distributed in the deficit areas. So the process of buffer stock includes the purchase of the wheat and rice from the farmers in the state where there is surplus. Then they are stored in the warehouses that are maintained by FCI, Food Corporation of India, and then they are distributed in the areas where there is less availability of food. So they can be, and normally they are distributed to poor sectors, poor people of the society at a price which is lower than the market price, called as the issue price. So this is totally about the system of buffer stock. And the next mechanism of food security system in India is the public distribution system. So what we understood, buffer stock is distributed to the poorer section of the society. And how it is done? It is done through government regulated ration shops. So there are around 5.5 lakh ration shops. I think you all must be aware of this. Some or the other time you must have heard about these ration shops. So they are even called as the fair price shops. So what do they normally give, either at the lower price or at a, what do they give normally at the lower price to the people? It can be the food grains, that is wheat, rice, sugar and kerosene for cooking. What are the importance or benefits of public distribution system? Over the years, this has led to the stabilization of price. So poorer are able to get the food at lower prices, and these prices are generally stable. They don't change much. And second, there is availability of food. So food is available for everyone, even in the areas of deficit. Lower prices help poor to afford the food, as I mentioned about. And second, I told you about a minimum support price which is paid to the farmers. So the farmers are also very clear what price they will get for the food which they are growing. And yeah, the third point, MSP has led to increase in the food grain productions. So farmers are aware how much money they will earn based on the food grains which they grow. So they are also seeing increase in the food grain production, and it has led to income security. They have a good source of income. So as a homework, I want you to read about the different types of the ration cards, that is like BPL and APL. Have a look at it and try to prepare your own notes. So in this slide, you should be able to Explain question 1, how food security is ensured in India. It includes both the buffer stock and the public distribution system. And then we read about question number 10, what is fair price shop. So you can explain this. So normally we understood what is public distribution system, right? Where there is a buffer stock creation and then there is public distribution system through the ration shops which is happening. But there are certain negativities or the negative feedback that we have for this particular public distribution system. What is happening, we saw there is a purchase of food grains from the farmers or the states where there is a surplus, but there is overstocking of these grains which is leading to wastage, rotting or quality reduction of the food. And second, there are higher carrying costs. So we are purchasing the food grains and then they are storing in the warehouses, so that it is leading to higher carrying cost. What is carrying cost? There is warehouse cost, there is a transport cost which is included, and further high production of rice and wheat to get more money through MSP. What does it mean? Farmers are producing more and more rice and wheat because they get good minimum support price for it. So it is leading to a lot of rice and wheat production and lesser production of other food grains. Also, because of rice and wheat require a lot of water, there is a huge groundwater depletion. So rice and water requires a lot of water to produce this food grain. So due to which there is a huge amount of groundwater depletion that is happening. Targeted PDS. You have understood about the public distribution system. So targeted PDS is something like an upgraded version of public distribution system, and it specifically targets poor people. So differential pricing policy is applied for poor and non-poor. So there has been categorization of the public into poor and non-poor based on certain mechanisms which you have understood in chapter number 3. And lower rates to purchase the goods will be applicable to people who are under the poor category. People who are not in the poor category, they will have to maybe pay a slightly higher rate to purchase any goods. So there are some other schemes which are falling under this PDS system. So one, it is Antyodaya Anna Yojana, so poorest of poor. So food reaches the poorest of poor, and Annapurna scheme, indigent senior citizens. So this is more for the senior citizens. So you should be able to answer question number 8. You will have to read something from the textbook also to know more about these particular projects or the public distribution system schemes. Problems of functioning of ration shops. So till now we have understood what is food security, what is food insecurity, who faces food security, and how these people are given food security through the government food security system of public distribution system and then the buffer stocks. But there are certain problems of these ration shops, or what we call as fair price shops. What are those? These are handled by people at the end of the day. So they do certain malpractices. So what they will do, the food grains which has to be going to the poor people, they'll go and sell it in the market, right? And they earn a lot of money, but the poor people don't get the food. Second, the people who are managing the fair price shops or the ration shops, what they will do is they will sell poor quality grains at the ration shop. So the good quality they have sold in the market, and they will buy and sell low quality goods in the ration shops. And what they do, these people, they may not be opening the ration shop properly on proper time. So this is also happening. And sometimes, as I told you about the targeted PDS, so what is happening, people who are in the poverty, they get rates which are lesser than the market, but the people who are above the poverty line, they may be paying amount which is almost equal to the market. So what they do, they may end up buying the same in the market rather than coming to the ration shop. So these are certain problems of functioning of ration shops. Question number 12 has asking about the role of cooperatives in the food security. So cooperatives are like, it is not a government, but it is a group of people, group of public who have come together to perform any activity. So these groups are called as role of as cooperatives. So how cooperatives are helping in food security in India? So normally in southern and western parts of India, these cooperatives are very active. So what they do is they are managing the fair price shops or the public distribution system shops in these states. So they sell the low price goods to the poor people. Certain examples of the cooperatives are Mother Dairy in Delhi, and then there is Amul in Gujarat. So in Tamil Nadu, 95% of the fair price shops are being run by the cooperatives. In Maharashtra, ADS, Academy of Development Science, it is an NGO which is developing grain banks. So what they are doing, they are getting and storing the food from the people, and also they are organizing various programs to improve the food security. So we have covered this wonderful chapter which talks about food and food security, and now let's do a quick recap. So we understood the definition of food security. It means affordability, availability and accessibility of food to all the people at all the times. What happens during the calamity? We have seen what happens. The production decreases, so the availability of food will decrease, then the prices of food will increase. If it continues for a long time, people face starvation. Starvation may lead to famine, and famine may lead to death. Who are food insecure? So we have looked about the various categories of people who can be food insecure, like poor people, landless people, people who are doing seasonal work, people who don't have a regular salary or regular income, and certain backward communities of India like scheduled castes and scheduled tribes and OBCs. So we have seen these examples of the people or the society, part of the society which is food insecure. Then which states? We had seen the example of states who are more food insecure. So what was the general trend? States who are poor or the states who face with regular calamities or disasters, these are generally more food insecure, and we had seen the examples of UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, Uttarakhand, etc. Hunger, we had seen hunger as a dimension of food security. So if you are hungry, if you're not able to get food, you are food insecure. And the types of food and hunger, we saw chronic hunger. Somebody is not able to fulfill his hunger at all periods of time, then he falls under the chronic hunger. Seasonal hunger, a person who is able to get the food for most of the period, but certain periods he is not able to get the food, he falls under the seasonal category. Green revolution, how it has helped India become self-sufficient in food grains? Yes, green revolution has been very helpful. It has helped in increase of the food grains like the rice and the wheat, and it has led to the food security system of India, which is helping that the food is available for everyone at all points of time. Then food security system, this is one of the most important point. How food security is possible in India? Because of the food security system. What are the two components? There is buffer stock and then there is public distribution system. What is buffer stock? Buffer stock is Food Corporation of India will buy food from the states where there is surplus of food, right? And then they will store it in the warehouses, and then they will distribute it to all the parts of the country where there is deficit of food or the food is not available through public distribution system. So when they purchase the excess of wheat and grain from the farmers, they will pay them a predetermined price which is called as minimum support price, and FCI stands for Food Corporation of India. What is issue price? It is the price at which the food grains are sold to the poor people, and generally this price is lower than the market price. Next component of food security system is the public distribution system, and ration shops have been set up across the country to provide the food grains to the poor people or the people who are under the poverty line. What are the positives of the public distribution system? What are the positives? Point number one, food availability, affordability and accessibility has increased throughout the country. They are able to buy at the cheaper price. Even the farmers are very clear what is the amount they will get for the produce which they are making from the farm, and there is increase in the farm production. But what are the negatives? There are certain malpractices being done by the people who are running the fair price shops, right? Point number one, they may not be selling good quality products. Maybe they are selling the good quality produce which they get from the government in the outside market, right? And they are not opening the shops properly. So these are certain negatives of public distribution system. And the ration shops and the cooperatives. So cooperatives, we saw how the cooperatives are running the public distribution system successfully in the multiple states. So with this, we come to the end of this particular video. Hope you liked it. Hope this was informative and helpful. As you saw, we have tried including all the questions which have been asked in the chapter. If I am missing anything, any particular question, you should be able to easily understand and write about it based on the video which you have seen. If you want specific notes, quick revision notes from this chapter, you can always message me, drop me an email on the email ID which is given in the description. If you want to discuss any particular topic, or if you want any personal one-on-one guidance, you can always drop me a mail. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And yeah, as I mentioned, please drop in the comments what is your favorite food and is it always available to you. Keep watching. Hope you like the videos. Thank you very much.